Today we're diving deep into the intricate, chaotic, and utterly captivating journey of one of the MCU's most beloved characters, Loki, the god of mischief. From a simple villain to a complex anti-hero, Loki's path is a masterclass in character development, and his deceptions have shaped the very fabric of the Avengers saga. So grab your popcorn, because this is going to be a glorious purpose-filled ride. Let's rewind to the beginning, back in 2011's Thor. We first meet Loki not as a mustached-whirling villain, but as Thor's younger brother, living in his shadow. His initial mischief is born from a desperate need for validation from his father, Odin. He feels overlooked, secondary to the mighty god of thunder. The real turning point, the core of his first major deception, is the devastating revelation of his true parentage. He's not an Asgardian at all, but a frost giant, a Jemtane, taken by Odin as a political pawn. This truth shatters his entire identity. Everything he knew was a lie. So what does the god of mischief do? He crafts a bigger lie. His plan to let frost giants into Asgard to assassinate Odin, only to save him at the last second, wasn't just a grab for power. It was a twisted, desperate attempt to prove his worth, to show his father that he, the frost giant runt, could be a worthy king. It's a tragic, self-destructive scheme that ultimately fails, sending him spiraling into the abyss, both literally and emotionally. This fall from grace sets the stage for his grand entrance as the primary antagonist of the Avengers. When he arrives on Earth, he's no longer just the overshadowed brother. He's fueled by rage, a sense of cosmic injustice, and a new, sinister benefactor, Thanos. Wielding the Mind Stone in his scepter, Loki's deception reaches a new level. He isn't just lying with words. He's manipulating minds, turning allies against each other. Think about it. His attack on New York wasn't just about conquering Earth. It was a performance. He announces his glorious purpose with theatrical flair. But the real purpose was to draw out Earth's mightiest heroes and force them into a conflict they weren't ready for. His greatest trick in this film wasn't summoning the Chitauri army, but his masterful manipulation of the Avengers themselves. He preys on their egos, their insecurities. He goads Tony Stark, gets under Captain America's skin, and pushes Bruce Banner to his breaking point. His capture on the helicarrier was a calculated move, a Trojan horse designed to implode the team from within. And it almost worked. He successfully engineers the conflict that leads to Coulson's death, a moment so pivotal it becomes the catalyst that finally unites the fractured team. In a way, Loki's deception didn't just try to break the Avengers. It inadvertently created them. Without his chaos, there would be no team to assemble. After his defeat, we see a different Loki in Thor, the Dark World. He's imprisoned, stripped of his power, but his wit and cunning remain his sharpest weapons. His deception here becomes more nuanced. When his mother, Frigga, the one person who truly loved and understood him, is killed, his grief is real, the pain is palpable. This tragedy forces a temporary and very fragile alliance with Thor. To avenge their mother, they must work together. This is where we see Loki's deception used for a greater good, at least from his perspective. He fakes his own death in a surprisingly heroic sacrifice, a move that not only fools Thor but also allows him to secretly usurp the throne of Asgard, disguised as Odin. This is Loki's ultimate fantasy fulfilled. He finally has the throne he's always craved, not through brute force, but through his signature move, a brilliant, long-con deception. He gets everything he ever wanted, and for a while, he rules Asgard in his own unique, theatrical way, commissioning statues and plays in his own honor. It's a quiet, personal victory for the god of mischief. This brings us to Thor, Ragnarok, where Loki's comfortable reign comes to a screeching halt with the return of Thor and the arrival of their terrifyingly powerful sister, Hela. Ragnarok is a game-changer for Loki. For the first time, he's faced with a threat he can't simply trick or talk his way out of. On Sakaar, he falls back into his old habits, quickly charming his way into the Grandmaster's favor. But when Thor asks for his help, we see a genuine internal conflict. The old Loki wants to betray Thor and save himself. It's his default setting, but something has changed. After years of schemes and lies, he finally chooses to stand with his brother. His arrival at the final battle, declaring, "Your savior is here," is peak Loki, part arrogance, part genuine heroism. He fights alongside the Asgardians, not for a throne, but for his people. He has finally truly come home. His deception in this film is turning on himself, deceiving his own selfish instincts to become the hero he never thought he could be. He even helps orchestrate Asgard's destruction to defeat Hela, a selfless act that marks a huge step in his redemption arc. And then comes the devastating opening of Avengers: Infinity War. This scene is the culmination of Loki's entire journey. Cornered by Thanos, he once again falls back on what he knows best: deception. He pledges his undying fidelity to the Mad Titan, a classic Loki misdirection. For a fleeting moment, we, along with Thor, believe he might be reverting to his villainous ways. But it's all a setup. The feint is a desperate, last-ditch effort to assassinate Thanos with a hidden blade. It's a suicide mission, and he knows it. In his final moments, he declares himself Loki, Prince of Asgard, son of Odin, the rightful king of Jotunheim, god of mischief. He embraces every facet of his fractured identity, the good and the bad. His death is not the act of a villain, but of a hero, a brother sacrificing himself to save the person he spent a lifetime tormenting. It's a tragic, yet perfect, end to his redemption. His final deception wasn't for personal gain, but a selfless act of love for his brother. Of course, with the magic of time travel in Endgame, that's not quite the end of his story. The Loki who escapes with the Tesseract in 2012 is the arrogant, angry Loki from the first Avengers film, creating a brand new timeline and paving the way for his own series. This variant is a fascinating concept. He hasn't gone through the character development we just discussed. He hasn't reconciled with Thor, mourned his mother, or fought for Asgard. His journey is reset, and through the TVA, he is forced to watch his own life, death, and redemption play out on a screen. He sees the man he was destined to become, and it changes him in a profound way. His deceptions in the Loki series become something new entirely. He learns to trust, to form bonds, and ultimately, his greatest act of deception is to out-trick the very concept of fate and destiny, rewriting the script of the entire multiverse to save it. He evolves from the god of mischief to the god of stories, burdened with a new, far more glorious purpose. From his first act of betrayal to his final sacrifice, Loki's deceptions were the engine of his character arc and a major driving force for the entire MCU. He was the catalyst for the Avengers, the shadow that pushed Thor to become a better king, and ultimately, the unlikely hero who held the multiverse together. He proved that even the most broken, mischievous soul could find redemption and purpose.